Hi guys, welcome back to another exciting video of Unique channel. Today we are going to learn CSS. If you are a beginner of CSS, this is a right video to follow. This video is going to help to teach you the basics of HTML. Through this video, I will guide you step by step, and I will teach you everything you need to start your journey of CSS. At the end of this video, you will be able to construct the project like this one. This is the first project where you have a register form where you can input names, emails, password, and this button. Next, we will construct this project of navigation bar, which contain the following links: home, contact, about us, department. And as you see, when I hover on this department, the result will return the drop down menu, which contain these links also, and this header. The third project will construct this marker of colors with CSS and HTML. So let's start our tutorial. But if you like our video, like it, comment, share, and subscribe for watching more video like this one. So before we start CSS, to learn CSS, you must have basic understanding of HTML. In order to start learning CSS, you have a basic understanding of HTML first. If you are new to HTML, you can watch the previous video on our channel, because that video it talks or teaches all about HTML. So don't worry, link is in the description. You can check it and access that link to watch that video. So let's start CSS. On my local machine, I create a folder, and inside this folder I have this folder again, which includes image folder to use in this video, and I have created this index.css file and index.html. So I'm going to open this folder with Visual Studio Code. Like this one. So inside my index.html, I have created this HTML code, which we are going to use in our practice. So, but before continue, sorry, we are going to define CSS and get introduction on CSS. CSS in full is cascading style sheet. Cascading style sheet, and it is defined as, and it is defined as a stylesheet language used to describe the presentation of an HTML document. So this is HTML in full. It's a cascading style sheet, and this is the definition of it, where it's defined by as a style sheet language used to describe the presentation of an HTML document. Why to use CSS? Before learn CSS, you have to know, to understand the use of CSS in web design. Use of CSS are: first, add to define style of web page, to define to design a style of web page. Two is, but here when I say to define the style of web page, we can include the design, layout, and variation in display across devices and screen. The second is, so that's all. This is the use of CSS to define the style of web page, which will include designs, layout, and variation in display. When you talk about CSS, you can understand these three things: design, layout, and variation in displays across devices and screens. This third use includes what we call responsiveness of web page. So let's see the example. Let's try to analyze the example of simple HTML, simple CSS. As I told you in the previous, at the beginning of our video, I have created this HTML document which contain this heading and this paragraph. I'm going to apply this CSS inside our HTML document. We are going to embed our code inside our HTML element, where we are going to, let me remove this class. We'll talk about it we'll talk on it later. To define a CSS inside our document, we use this tag called style, and inside this style tag we insert all CSS code we need to apply. So let's select body and put background color to black, and P means I select paragraph font size 20 pixels. Let me save and run this code. You see, in our code we determine that this body or body element, the background is going to be black, which means our background will be black, and we are not able to see our text or to observe our text. But in order to observe this text, you can change the background. Let me change it to red, and you see, when I come and refresh, you see we have our text and our background, which is red, and we can change our text to our text color to white. When I refresh, the text color will be white. You see, will be white. So this is an example of CSS inside HTML document, but we are going to continue to CSS syntax and how to define CSS inside the HTML document. Let's analyze first way of inserting CSS inserting. There are three simple ways of inserting CSS in HTML document. First way is internal CSS. Second is external CSS. The third is inline CSS. So let's talk about internal CSS. Internal CSS or internal style sheet is a way of defining or inserting CSS inside HTML document or in a single HTML document in order to define a unique styles of that web page. With this CSS rule set or rules, we should be include all styles inside style tag or style tag element. Let's say an example of internal style, internal CSS. When we define a CSS by with aid of this method, first we include style inside, we include style tag inside our heading or our head tag as to let the compiler know we are going to put styles of this web page, and then after we put our CSS between this style tag, as you see we did here. This code also applied to this web page as a unique styles that return this output as compiler. The next, this was internal. The next, external CSS. External CSS also is external CSS is a way of defining CSS where we can, which is very useful when we want to apply styles on multiple HTML pages that have the same styles. This can be achieved by having an external style sheet file. To achieve this, we require to have an external style sheet file saved with file name .css. That file we save it by file name .css. Example, we can write index.css. This is the external file of CSS which is called index, and in order to let the compiler know what is the type of file we need to add the extension of CSS.css. But we need to link, but then after creating this external file of CSS, we need to link this file with our index.html. To do this, we use this tag link layer stylesheet href, and you can include your file which is called index.html. index.css. Then after you can close our tags. This is a code, or this is a block of a link that can help you to link your external CSS with index.html or HTML document. Let's take an example of this. Let me remove all of this code, or let me did here. Let's remove all of this from here, and I'm going to put my connection link to this. I did this because I create my index.css inside my further tutorial. This is index.css. The reason why I came here inside my HTML file, then I include this link rare stylesheet and href index.css, means this link is going to tell the code editor to go and search inside the further tutorial and find this index.css in order to link the code, the code of styles from that CSS file to be applied to this web page of index or HTML to this HTML document. So I save. When I finish to connect my file, my index.html file and my external CSS file, I save, and this is my external CSS file, and I'm going to apply all code or styles that I need to style, that is going to style that web page or that HTML document. So in the beginning we have the body background body. We select body, and I put background to red, background color, BG color to red, and text and color of text, I change it to white. You see, when I refresh, there is nothing changed because my style are applied to my index, to my HTML document, which is called index.html. So let's talk about inline. This inline CSS. Inline CSS or inline styling is useful for styling a single element. So this inline CSS, it is useful when we are styling a single element. A single element means is like a paragraph or body element only, or a division element. So this is done by using a style attribute, and so let me like short note, draw this line. Inline styling is useful for styling a single element, and it is done by using style attribute inside that element tag. Inside that element tag. So let's take an example of this. Remember, here we have a paragraph, and we are going to style this paragraph in this way by using inline. As I told you, I'm going to come inside this P and write and type this style attribute inside my element style. You see, style, and I'm going to increase the font size of this text font size. Let me take it as 50 pixels, and I'm going to change the color. I'm going to change the color of this to blue. So let me come here and refresh. When I refresh, the font size, as you see, this text subscribed to my channel is in blue color as I style it, and the font size is increased to 50 pixels. Guys, that's all about CSS inserting or CSS definition. Let's see the syntax and the selectors or in syntax and selectors in CSS. Let me remove this text from here. I'm going to put the new one. So a CSS rule set is composed of a selectors, or of a selectors, and a declaration block. Then this is the composition of CSS. Everything we need, everything we write as CSS code, it contains selectors and declaration block. Selectors defines which element we need to target, and a declaration block defines those selected element what we need to change about on it. Either it can be positioning, it can be colors, it can be border or others. We will analyze them later, or we'll talk about on it later. The selectors, as I told you, selectors or a group of selectors target the element like the elements we want to style. Let's see an example. Let's see an example. Let's come back to this, to our document, to our HTML document. I'm going to select this paragraph and apply some styles to change this paragraph. I select P as a paragraph and I'm going to put background black, background color black, width 2 pixel, height 2 pixel, 200 pixel. Come here and refresh. Let me remove this. It can be an issue that's called my style is not operating. What's going wrong? What's wrong? It is border color. It is background, not border. Type wrong. Background color. Let me delete this. Let me refresh. You see, my background color inside my paragraph is showing, and I define the height and width of this color. When I change height to 20 and come and refresh, you see the height of this background also decrease. And when I change my text color to white or this beige, when I refresh, you see color changes. So what I want to show you is this P is a selector, means I select all paragraph from my web page, and P is a selector which selects all paragraph from my document, and these are declaration block. These are declaration block. The declaration block will be inserted between the parentheses of a selector P, because the P is a selector that I'm using to select all paragraph from my HTML document. So I'm going to focus on external CSS because it is very important and useful than the previous one, which is inline and internal. So let's continue. These are declaration block and this is selector P, and the declaration block are inserted inside or are contained inside the parentheses. So another thing you need to know on declaration block, on this declaration block, This declaration block contain property, semicolon, the colon or the separators, and the value. Means we have property background color, the colon to separate this property and its value. Then after this property has a value of black, means property width has a value of 200 pixel, and so on. So let's see the way of, or what are the CSS selectors. Let's see the let's run CSS selectors. CSS selectors. CSS selectors. We are going to learn CSS selectors. CSS selectors. The first CSS selectors is element selectors. This is the first one. The second is class selectors. The third is ID selectors. ID selector, not selectors. And class selector, element selector. Let's take an example on each one. First, let's focus on element selectors. Element selector, when we take, let's come and observe. Let me style this h1 in this way. I'm going to style my h1 in this way. I'm select h1 means is I'm going to style my h1. I'm going to change the color to green. Means I select element. It is element selectors because I take element heading 1 and I change its color to green. When I come and refresh this, the text color of unique will be returned to green. Let me refresh and you see my text color is green. This is what we call element selector. Let me repeat again. I take this, or I select this element heading 1, and the color of this heading 1 I'm going to change it to, or I'm going to style it to green, which this is what we call h1 or element selector. This is element selector. And let's talk about class selector. Class selector, let's see example. It is helping me to make you very confident. Class selector, for example, when the class selector consists of dot followed by a class name. and a class name is defined using the class attribute. Defined using the class attribute. So let's take an example. Let me come here and inside this div, I'm going to define a class called head. And this head, and here let me call it, define it as header, and here I'm going to call it class name called h1, and class name, and I call it p. I'm going to select all those elements by the class, by the classes. So let me write class. As I told you, the class selector consists of dot followed by a class name. Here is how we select an element by class. We type dot followed by class name. Class name is head. You can come and copy the class name. Sorry. Then after, you can put your inside declaration block, you can put the property and their values, the style property and the corresponding values. Let me take it to bg color 2, and take like this one, bg color to this. When I refresh, and you see my all elements are covered by the background, because those elements are inside this class header. But when I take this head h1 and type dot h1 bg red, background red, when I refresh, red background will be showing to this unique, because h1 class contain only the unique element. You see, it is covering, and it is over the class, the background color of header of class header. And when I take this p, class p, and provide font size to 5 pixel, see the text, the paragraph p, the paragraph p text will increase in its font size. You see, it is increasing to 50 pixels. Guys, this was also all about selector class. Let's talk about ID selector. The ID selector is very useful when targeting a single element. Is very when target a single element. This for when target on a single element. ID selector consists of hash, hash, float, hash, float by ID name. Example, let me change these two ID. These two ID, and when I change here from dot to hash as it is in explanation, you see here we has here, because I changed my code from class to ID, the background is it disappear. But when I save this and I refresh here, my background also will continue to be styling my h1 because it is selected by ID h1. So those was all about selectors in CSS. And let's see some element of basics in CSS. Basics of CSS. Let's talk about CSS. Talk about CSS colors. CSS colors this is how you comment, you insert the comment inside CSS document. CSS colors are commonly specified using CSS colors are commonly specified using color name. Example, like can take h1 and type color to aqua. This is the text of h1. I'm going to provide the value which is equal to color name aqua. When I refresh here, you will see it will display it there. But this is first way of defining colors of CSS in styling. You can specify CSS color by color name. The second way of defining color in CSS is hexadecimal color value. This is another way of defining CSS colors. Example of hexadecimal color value is, let me take background color 2. You see, this is hexadecimal color. This color code is this color is defined in the form of color code, hexadecimal color code, hexadecimal code. This is another way, and you see, let me make it black. Black. You see black, it is displayed. The third way of defining color is RGB values. Using RGB color values, you can define CSS colors by using RGB color, color values. Like, let's take color. RGB color values, you can take the combination of color names to make one color. Like this here we has let's take an example of RGB values. You see, this is our color code. It is displayed there. Defining of color with RGB, it consists of the combination of numbers which is ranged from 1 to 255, and those three combination of numbers, it made up a single color. That's all about colors in CSS. Let's talk about backgrounds. You can you can style your code, your HTML document through backgrounds. You can specify like for background color. You can provide background color. You can provide background image. You can provide background repeat. You can specify background attachment and many more backgrounds. These are properties. This was all about property background. Let's talk about property borders. Also in CSS you can deal with borders. Borders and etc. Let's take an example on this. I can provide border, something I forgot to tell you is when you can you can specify border top, border at the top, border top, B bottom, B left, B right, and another additional borders. And let me give you an example of border 1 pixels, solid, black, green. Let me define it by using property color with value of color name green. Let me refresh. You see my border, it is showing here on my heading, and I can provide width to this border. Let me put 250. You see the border width, it is covering 50% or pixels. Can provide height or background of border. Height, we take 50 pixel. Region, we take as black. See, height and width and background of my border, it is black. So let's go to margins. Margins also is another CSS property which help you to define the margins between element. Between the element, you can define margins between HTML element, HTML document element, HTML element document by margin top, margin right, margin bottom, margin left, and many more. Let's take an example of margin. Can provide it. Let me provide some styling about margin between this h1 element. I'm going to define margins from top, margin between this element from top. Okay, margin, let's take margin top to 100 pixels. 100 pixels. Let me refresh. You see my heading, it is pushed from top, it is pushed from top to this by specifying 50 pixel as styles, 100 pixel. Let's talk about padding. Padding also is another HTML property, or is another CSS property which specifies the padding or space between an element. It creates space between an element. It clears an area around the inside of an element. CSS padding cites the following property and set the length of the padding on each side. You can set the padding of element between padding top, padding right, padding bottom, padding left, and many more. Let's take an example of this. Let me give my border to my heading to border 1 pixel, means the height of my border 1 pixel red, and I'm going to give the background will be red. Let me provide to red. Let me refresh. You see my background and border, it is showing. Let me give providers padding. Let me provide padding top to 30 pixel. Let me refresh and you see my border, the space covered by my background in height, it increasing from top to 30. This is from here to here. There is 30 pixels as I determine in my style. And when I put padding left like 90 pixel, we'll see my padding is from here to this to my element. There is 30 padding, 90 pixel. So this is all about padding. I hope everything it is good. Difference between paddings and margins is margins specify the space between element, and the padding it clear an area around the element. Means when I say I style my element padding left 90, means I'm going to push my word or my element from left to right to 90 pixel. Let's talk about width and height. Width and height, it is very easy. Are CSS property that help us to determine the width of element and the height of the element. Let's go to the next one. CSS text. CSS text also is a way of formatting our text, including changing colors, indentations, adding text decorations, and a lot more. CSS text color, you can change you can change the color of text by using color, by specifying the color to be styling your element. So let's take an example. Here I select my heading and I want to change this to style my heading as underlined. Let me save here and refresh. I'm going to underline my text, my element, by selecting heading 1 as we learned it in previous at the starting. Then I'm going to write text decoration and line or line through. Let me draw line inside my element. I'm drawing line that is going to pass inside this element. You see, this is line through, and as I want, I can underline. This is how we can underline my element, and I can change color as we saw, blue or violet, like this. Let's talk about CSS tables, image, and we're going to run 3 properties, and then at the end of that we'll focus on our project demo. So let's see CSS tables. Before analyzing CSS tables, let's define this property. First of all, you can, to run this, you can be familiar with HTML tables, as I told you in the beginning, but I was pinning my video of, on HTML in the description. You can check and watch that video. It can teach you all about HTML. So let's take an example of table. Let me take an example of table. Let me clear these things. Let me clear, and I'm going to type table head tr th means it is first name, channel name, after this T, heading, we're going to write T body, let me define more heading, th course. This is enough for me. Let me define the body. On the first, I'll type table data, table heading, table row. Inside table body, I'm going to write table row, and inside table row, I'm going to put table data. Table data, channel name will be unique, and course will be table data. Table data will be CSS. Let me save and come and refresh. See, you see, my output is this, but it doesn't have the borders and others. So I'm going to define them by aid of CSS. Then come and select all table, then select table, and I'm going to put border collapse, means I'm going to collapse my borders. See, and I'm going to take table again and select th again and select table data. Now I'm going to provide the border to 1 pixel, solid black. Come and refresh. You see my table, it is drawn in CSS. So that is all about tables, and I can give the padding and others. Let's talk about buttons. Buttons. Let me delete all from here. Take an example. Buttons. Here we are going to learn how you can style our HTML buttons. Let's take an example of HTML button of code. Inside the body, I'm going to define 3 buttons, and I will select them by ID button, ID button 1, BT1. Then take this BT2, 2. This is enough for me, and I'm going to start these buttons, and I'm going to select them by ID. First, let me take BT1. Let me select by ID. BT1, and I'm going to give background as, let me use RGB 23, 52 and 89 as my choice, and color, and me use hexadecimal value F8. Give this hexadecimal code F8 F9 F9. You see, my button 1, it is displayed as this. I provide the color and background color, and you can style the next. Let's talk about HTML images, CSS images. Let me take an example of, let me delete this, and I'm going to insert image inside my HTML document. IMG, and the source is going to be covered from this folder images, and then take this off. I was entering inside my inside this image folder and I pick this f.jpg. When I refresh, my image is displaying here, and I'm going to style my image by using element selector and take element select image, and I'm going to give border radius to 50 pixels. When I refresh, you will see there's a border radius on my image, and I can make it a circle by providing 50 pixels. Sorry. You see, my image it become a circle. You can provide whatever you want by styling images. Let me talk about so guys, those was all about CSS properties, and I'm going to guide you in project, and we will construct the project that I show you in the beginning of this video. First project is this register form. We are going to construct this register form with be confident because we complete all necessary requirements need to construct this web page. This is a register form where we have three input box and a button, and you have this heading and those borders and those hover effects on this button and this link. So we're going to start from scratch finding that output or designing this register form. Shift and press shift and exclamation, you see this element abbreviation, then next click on enter, you see this, and we are going to construct it from scratch. Let's go inside this body and create a division. Inside this division we're going to create form, because that is a form. Inside this form is going to contain three input box and this button. Okay, first input will be inputted text. Name will be equal to name, and the placeholder will be, the placeholder is username. The next this will be not text. Type it will be not text, it will be email. name, email, and placeholder will be your email, or let me check, email address. So the input will be password. Will be password. Then after we'll provide button. Login. After this we will provide paragraph. And we're going to put our link. Forgot password. When I refresh my page, we will see this 3 input and this button. I forget to provide my placeholder password, and so when I refresh, you see password is here and this link. But in order to prevent the click on this link, we put hash. So we are going to style our link, but before let me separate this input and put one below another. I do this by brick. Let me refresh, and you see it's aligned as I want. But we're going to start our styling. As you see, we need this background color. You can do this by we create in our index.css is there, but thing we're going to do, we're going to connect it inside our head tag by this link rel style sheet style href index.css. Then after we can start to style our CSS. We are going to take this body, select all body, and I'm going to provide this background inside my body, this background color. BG color. Is me gray. Take a gray. When I refresh, you see color it is showing. And the next thing I'm going to do is to push my element in the middle of web page. To do this, I will type display flex. I will aligning my element center. You see, display flex align element center, and I'm going to justify my element center. Justify content center. You see, my content is aligned center as I need. So the next things I'm going to work on is to push this element in the middle. It is center, but I want to push it in the middle. Again, I'm going to select my element by this division. By this division, I have division here, which includes all my element of all my form element, and I'm selecting division from my head from my HTML document. I'm going to provide display flex, align item center, justify content center. What's happening here? That's long. It is not happening. I don't know why. Okay, let me provide the class name on this class name, which is going to cover all of them. Form form we provide the height. See, I provide the height to be covered by my element. That's why it was not displaying or apply this style to my element. The next, this is done. I was centered my element. So let's focus about this. I forgot to put this heading. Let me copy, come back to my code, and I'm going to put inside form, going to put heading 1. You see, it's here. So let me continue. I'm going to select the form. I'm going to select the form. Then after, going to select the form. to apply these changes, background color, this background color and this border. Let me select form, border will be 1 pixel, the height of the border will be 1 pixel, solid black. When I refresh, you see border it is displaying on my form. And this border I'm going to provide, this form I'm going to provide background color. Background color will be this color code, sorry, it is an issue of common code. I'll be covering this color code. When I refresh, you see it is covering, and I want to provide my border radius. This border I'm going to provide radius to it, and will be equal to like 10 pixels border radius 10 pixels. See, my border is there and my background is there. So let me focus on this input. I have the input inside my form, and I'm going to select input and select input. And before I select my input, as you see, my input are not separated. Let me separate them by providing margin top. No margin between them. Margin. Let me provide 5 pixels. Let me refresh. You see, my input are separated, or my element inside my form element are separated. My input. Okay, let me check on the output, and you see we have the border. This border it is not displayed. Let me style my input to remove the border. I will say border none, border none. You see, when I refresh, the border it is not showing, but when I click, you see there is an outline, and I'm going to remove this outline. You see, let me remove outline no one, also outline no one, outline no one. You see, there is no outline. You see the cursor only. Okay, I'm going to provide this background and try to increase the fonts. I'm going to provide this background and increase its width. First of all, I'm going to increase the width and the height. Okay, I'm going to increase the width of my border and provide the width. Width will be, let me provide the height 20 pixels. height, you see it is increased, and then provide the background bg color, which is equal to white. To white. Let me provide font size. Font size. Font size will be 20. See, my font size is 20. And padding, let me provide padding of 7 pixels. See, padding is increasing. Let me provide border. Ten pixel. Solid RGB. RGB 221. 221. 221, 223, 233. And this color code 228. Let me type 228. And you see my output is here. This is finished, but the rest is this button, to start this button. So this button also, let's focus on my button. Let's focus on my button. Button. Let me select button. And select my button, and I'm going to provide width of my button. Width covering 100%. Means is going to cover all space. You see? And I'm going to provide the background. Let me provide background to blue. Blue. You see, my background is showing, and I'm going to provide to state. As you see, the color of my button is white. Color white. This color code. See, it is this. And I don't want this. As you see, there is no border and outline. I want to remove the border no one. You see this border, I'm going to remove. There is no border again, and I'm going to increase the padding, this padding. Padding to 10 pixels. And refresh, you see padding is increased, and I'm going to provide border radius, border radius radius, border radius 2, border radius 2. Let me put 10 pixels. You see it's showing, and I'm going to provide this hover effect. No, let me first make this cursor to be pointer. Cursor pointer. See, cursor is pointer, and I'm going to provide hover effect. When I hover on this button, let me provide button hover, when you hover, background will be, I need to be this one, this color code 3, and color will be sky blue. You see, when I hover, the background color will be that color, and the color of my text will be that color. And what is the rest? Rest is this link. I'm select the link A, and I'm going to provide text decoration no one. I'm going to remove this line. I'm going to remove this line and put it into the center. Text decoration no one. Text decoration no one. Color blue. You see, color is blue and line is removed. Then after, I need to style I need to provide this hover effect on this link, on my link, by, as I did on my button, by A hover. Let me put hover here. BG color, background color. I said, let me give the same as that. You see, and I want to change my text to, let me change the hover color text to color to white. Let me provide this. You see, this is my link, but as you see, it is in the center. Let me provide, before styling my link, let me provide style to this paragraph, this p. Going to provide text align center, text line center. When I refresh, you see it is this, but I think this is enough for this form. Can type everything, it is correct. It is correct over here, but there is nothing left that I'm not doing. Another things we can define here, I can increase the width of form. Let me increase the width of form and put 50% and let's see. Let me increase. No, let's keep that width. Let me keep this width. It is good. It is good as it is. Or I can change here inside this form. Let me keep this. It is good. It is good for me, and I expect. So without getting late, we aid of on HTML and CSS. We construct this beautiful register form, and I hope you guys, everyone can design this one. Can type names, type emails, can type some password. That's all. And this is clickable. And you see, when you try to submit, you get this pop-up message. You include invalid email address. So let's go to the next project, guys. Let me delete all content, and here the next we are going to work on this. We're going to work on this navigation bar. Let's start our project. Inside our body, let's type division. paste the type division with class type. Class contain. Class contain nav means navigation. We are going to insert our element. First of all, we're going to deal with this heading. Our heading is, let's take h1, and as you see, I have IT Telecom. Let me copy this IT Telecom group and then paste here IT Telecom group. You see IT Telecom group, and as you see, this was italicized, and the reason why I'm going to wrap them into italic. You see, it is this, it is in italic. Next, let me continue to my list of tags. I'm going to write to provide these links, this links of list, this list of links. I know that the list, and of list of item, and because our links, I'm going to provide another anchor tag which is going to be home href made to unclickable by providing hash. I'm going to paste 2 more, 3 more. Input here as contact about as, and let me remove this. Department will be styled uniquely. Let me go to div, and inside this div I'm going to provide the class name called drop down. This class will handle the CSS of this drop down link. I'm going to provide my list. Let me copy this. Inside this I'm going to provide this department, and I'm going to continue drop down. I'm going to provide drop down content div class name, drop down, content, drop down content, and inside this I'm going to provide all this is also another anchor. It is be closed here. And inside this I'm going to provide anchor. There is procurement, procurement, accounting, human resource, and marketing. Then after, provide anchor of IT. When I refresh, you see I have these links. These are an ordered list of links. This dot means we have an ordered list of links. And the list of this department inside it has already another links. Okay, let's style this to achieve this one. First of all, I'm going to select the body. As you see here, my background is automatic. The top of my background is 0. As you see, top of my background is 0, means we are going to select all element or all HTML, but for me I select all like this. You can select all by take all HTML or select all by star. Let me margin 0, padding 0, box sizing, border box. As you see, when I refresh, you see my element it covers 0 margin and padding to the top. So then after, let me select my body, and I'm going to provide this background, this background color, cotton, sea green. You see it's covering. Then after, we are going to take this background of navigation bar. To achieve this, we're going to take this, class which is called contain. This contain class because it contains this or this element dot contain and I'm going to provide background color bg color to RGB and provide RGB values 102, 93, 93 and 109. This color code. You see, my whole content, it covers this background. And I'm going to provide the height of my background to 8 to 70 pixel. 70 pixel. You see, my background, it covers 70 pixel. So let's take care on this heading. This heading, we are going to take care on it as you see. We have our heading in 3 different. We have our heading, it contains 3 words, different words, and each word contains a unique class. So to achieve this, I'm going to come here and insert 3 spans, and each span is going to contain one word span, and inside this first span I'm going to wrap this IT. Second, I'm going to write second span, which has this telecom. Which has this group. Sorry. Which has this group. And each span is going to contain the ID. By the way, let me provide class or ID to select single element ID text, and here I'm going to provide ID. Let me call it group, and I'm going to save. So I'm going to select this ID by hash followed by ID name, which is called text, and this word I'm going to change the text color into white. To change text color, color to FFFF, this color code. When I save, and you see it is returning this color. The next I'm going to change, I'm going to provide provide the font size of my, because as you realize this font size is not much as like this. What there is no space between here. Don't know what's wrong. Let me check my code. Okay, I not provide where here this telecom is not provided in its ID, and when I save also, no. This see the space is showing, so I'm going to provide, you see this font, the font size of this one, it is greater than this one. This font size means I'm going to increase the font size of my text on my heading, which means I'm going to put font size to 3rd pixel. You see it is increased, my font size is increased. Then I'm going to provide margin left to push from left 50 pixel, you see. And another things I'm going to do is I'm going to take let me try to provide ID here, and I'm going to change the color of telecom to sorry, and change the telecom to blue. You see telecom is blue. And another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take the ID of this group, color. What is the color? Color is the word. Let me try to guess. I put sky blue. If it is not true, we'll change. You see my output, it is achieved. Then after, I'm going to work on this navigation bar. Now select all navigation, and I'm going to get padding to 10 pixel and display flex. Display flex. Then let me remove this display flex, and let me select this and order the list and this list of item. Display inline, you see, displayed inline on inline block, and let me provide margin left to 5 pixel to provide the margin between my links. You see, margin are separated, links are separated between them. And let me increase the padding to 10 pixel, 20 pixel, top bottom 10 pixel, right and left 20 pixel. You see, let me add on another list, li and a anchor tag, which is going to color white. Let me change to white. Text, you see, color is white now. Text decoration, no one. Let me remove that line. You see, there is no line anymore. I'm going to increase the font size to 20. Font size equal to 20. You see, my font size is increased. And let me go to and as you see, this output, this is I finish all this, but I'm going to work on this to provide this department link. I'm going to put here and provide this drop down menu here. So to do this, I'm going to select this class which contain drop down. So drop down. What I'm going to do is position relative position relative and display inline block. block, inline block. You see, this is how it displays. And I'm going to collapse this. I'm going to collapse. I'm going to work on this. Let me select this content, drop down content, and hide my links. Hide my links. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to display none. Display none. You see, my links are hidden. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to make the hover to style this department link. When I'm hovering on it, the drop down will be drop down below this department link. So let me display it again. Before I continue, I'm going to do it by take this drop down class, this drop down content class, and I'm going inside, I'm going to select drop down, hover, then after drop down content, and then I'm going to display it as block, display block. You see, when I hover on department, my link is displayed, but it is not in a normal way. I want to do to display it as like this. To do this, I'm going first to decorate my link to be displayed as block, to be coming on the same line, one below another. And me do by come back on my drop down content. I'm going to select drop down content, and inside my class I'm going to use multiple selector. Multiple selector means I'm going to select my element with by multiple selector. I'm going to use this class, and I'm going to use this selector class and selector anchor tag a sorry, I'm using this drop down content as a class and this anchor tag a. So what I'm going to do this, I'm going to specify what the how my link is going to be displayed. I'm going to display it as block, display block. Let me refresh, and you see it is displayed. I don't know why. Let's continue. We'll fix it later. I'm going to provide the color black, padding 12 pixel. and I'm going to show you the new one. Sorry, it is a disease that was taking me. So first, as you see, we are going to draw. You see, we are going to draw. So let's go. Inside our body, we are going to first our heading 1, which is CSS colors. CSS color. CSS color. When I refresh, you see we have CSS color. And inside our HTML, we are going to have our division tag. Division, which has class name container, and inside our div we are going to have two div. With class stick and add another class called div. Here we have class called site, and another div called, where we have class called inside. So we are going to start this class in order to draw this. You see, our border are displayed. And side and inside, let's select side. Display inline block. Display inline block. You see, then after, let's go take this A and provide add-on class A linear gradient linear gradient background linear In here gradient we have RGBA, RGBA 122 74 and 14. This is the first color. The second is RGBA 245 62 113. RGBA 162 27 27. You see, our color is showing, but it is not. Our color is showing in the right way. In the right way, but I'm going to provide this box shadow in the background. Let's provide our box shadow. Is showing our box shadow, and you can add the next one, but then after can provide another dot